Welcome back to Black Bear Forge and our countdown till Christmas. We had lots of requests for various Christmas tree ornaments. Today I thought I would make one that I don't recall if it was specifically requested or if it just is generically a Christmas tree ornament, and that is a basket twist ornament. Now we've looked previously at making basket twist handles for pokers and things like that. Typically I use 1/4 inch round bar for these, but I think that's a little bit heavy for a Christmas tree ornament. So I'm going to go out on a limb and try some of this 3/16 round bar from the political signs, the yard signs, and see how this works. And I have 4 pieces of 3/16 round bar, 6 inches long, welded up into a bundle of 4. So it's a 2x2 bundle. And I just put a little tack weld on the end. We're going to forge weld this. The tack weld is just there to temporarily hold it. There may be some remnant of it in the finished piece, but it has nothing to do with the structure of the finished piece. You can baling wire this, use hose clamps, some other method to hold them, but this is way easier and way more reliable. Some of the folks that suggested making Christmas tree ornaments were Frank Schwarz, Joey Winkler, Matt Miller, and Don Whalen. So thanks for the idea. Let's head over to the fire and see if we can forge weld some little basket ornaments. For today's project, I thought we would go ahead and work in the coal fire. I think for these smaller, more delicate forge welds, this is way better than the gas forge that just gets way too big a heat. We only need little heats of about 1 inch long at forge welding heat for this. So I think the coal is going to be the way to go. So I have a nice, clean, deep fire going here. And I'm going to keep my piece to be welded up in the neutral zone of the fire, where it'll consume all the oxygen and it won't scale so badly. I'm just going to flux this very lightly, about the last inch or so. One end of this will get a ring and one end will just get a long taper. So there's not very much flux, it doesn't need a lot. As this comes up to heat, you want to keep an eye on it. You may need to move some coal around to look down in the fire, rotate it, keep the heat even. You need all 4 pieces to hit welding heat simultaneously. I'm going to weld this in a bottom swedge. That helps force the bars together. If you weld them on the face of the anvil, they want to spread apart, and this helps confine everything and makes for an easier weld. Some light, quick blows. You can feel under the hammer that that's solid, so it's welding. I'm going to want to come back just a little bit to make for a little longer stem, whichever end this ends up being. I really only want a basket about 2 inches or 3 inches in the middle, not real big. I'll just run that weld up just a little bit more. Once you're sure you've got a good weld in the swedge, you can go to the face of the anvil. Wire brush all the scale off, you can get a good look at it. That's looking pretty good. We'll take another heat. I'm going to draw this out. That'll probably be the spike end on the lower end of the ornament. You can be a little bit more vigorous with this as it welds, but remember, it's a small piece. Don't get too carried away. You don't need to wail away on this with a 4-pound hammer. It's starting to delaminate just a little bit, so I'll take another welding heat just right here on the end. And that is a problem with this little stuff, is it's easy to split and shear because there's not enough mass to really refine the weld as much as you might like. Yeah, I've managed to burn this a little bit. Got a little bit too hot. We'll see if we can save it. I knew that would be a risk with this thin material. It's looking better. We might have saved it. Doesn't hurt to try. The worst case is you got to start over, which is what you have to do if you can't save it anyways. Still a little bit thin right where the burn was right there, so I'm going to try and draw this out a little bit more. Stuff cools off real quick, so don't push your luck. I think we've managed to save it. I'm pretty happy with that. Next, we're going to turn it around and we're going to do the same thing to the other end. So we repeat that exact same procedure on the other end. Light, gentle blows in the swedge to get it to all go together. That sets the weld. I did take a few minutes out there and I cleaned all the clinkers out of the fire. Amazing how much that little bit of welding is left behind. So I think we can go to the face of the anvil now. We want to draw a similar taper on this end ultimately. The only difference is this will get a ring instead of a long slim point. That one welded up very nicely. It's a better weld than the first one. Also helps that we didn't burn it. I should say that I didn't burn it. You guys had nothing to do with that. That looks real good. We're going to keep drawing that out until we get enough to make a nice ring out of. We continue to do this starting at a welding heat. So we are refining the weld with each go-around. But the more consolidated it is, the further below welding heat I'm willing to work it. And you can feel a lot of that under the hammer if you're paying attention. I'm just going to keep going until we can get our ring out of this. I think the ring would be nice rounded up. And it doesn't need to be a very big ring. Remember, this just gets one of those little hooks to hang it on the Christmas tree. I'm going to go ahead and do that before I put the twist in so I don't have to come back and worry about messing up my twist as I do the ring. Really a very fine little point there. It's only taking a few seconds to heat this tiny end up each heat. A little curly Q. Then we'll put the ring in it. It's a way bigger ring than it needs to be, but it looks appropriate for what it is. We have a ring to hang it by. We have a nice little pendant end or spike, whatever you want to call that. So now we'll put the basket twist right in the center here. And you don't want a real high heat for this. A low heat's going to work just fine. And do your best to get a nice even heat throughout. And twist it up. Sort of tight, but not too bad, and then untwist it until you get a nice basket effect. And if the heat is even, it will open up evenly. Something like that. It's pretty much just what I want. It's a little bit crooked. I'm going to straighten that before we go on. And I'm going to give that a good hand wire brushing before we do the next step. And the final step is to insert a nice marble in there. This is a red glass marble with some swirls. Pretty cheap on eBay. I'm just going to use the torch to heat one wire, move it out of the way, drop the marble in, and pull the wire back. You don't want this to get too hot or you might melt or crack the marble. Luckily it cools off so fast that getting it too hot may be nearly impossible. I'm not sure that's going to fit. So the marble didn't fit because I didn't get this open enough to start with. So I'm going to retwist it, make sure I'm clamped at the furthest outside edges of the basket, and see if we can get this to open up just a little bit more the next time. So I'm going to start by twisting it shut again to try and keep everything even. And while it's here and I've got the torch out, you just use the torch to heat this. So now we can untwist that and hope it opens up a little bit bigger this time. Yeah, it looks like it ought to hold the marble better, I hope. So there again, I'm going to go ahead and wire brush it vigorously before I put the marble in. Now because this opened up a little unevenly, I've actually got a spot there that the marble will drop into. That's nice. I'll just need to close that up a little bit. So I'll heat these two wires up. Try and drop the marble in without burning yourself. And then close those up. and try and make it even all the way around. And pretty much that is it, except for continued wire brushing just to clean this up from the little bit of scale the forge weld leaves. I think I'll go quench it just so we don't melt the marble to the iron. Well, that was another fun little project, a little bit of a challenge to get the marble in just right without damaging it. I really do like the size of this thinner material than I do this 1/4 inch. I think this is much better for a Christmas tree ornament. The 1/4 inch is better for a fireplace tool. So I was generally very pleased with the way it came out and the way it went. You got to pay real close attention not to burn it, because it was real easy to burn this up. In fact, I made two and I burned one end of one or the other. But both of them I was able to salvage because I had so much drawing out to do in this long square section that I was able to work all the burn material out. For a tool or something like that, if you burn it forge welding it, I'd throw it out. But for this, it doesn't really matter if you've decarburized something or caused some structural damage in the steel. The ornament is never going to care as long as it looks good in the end. And because I made two, now I got earrings I can wear to the office Christmas party. Oh wait, I don't have an office Christmas party. But it's still got more class than wearing a lampshade on your head. Didn't I tell you in the last video not to drink too much at Christmas time? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this project as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Feel free to stick around, watch a few of the other videos, share the videos with your friends, but then make time in your day to get out to your shop and make something. But stay safe, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next one. If you would like to provide financial support for the YouTube videos at Black Bear Forge, there are links in the video description for Patreon and PayPal. These are merely donations. The content is free and will remain free. Thank you.